Good evening. The time is now 6:12 p.m. on this, the 25th day of March 2014, and I call this meeting of the United Independent School District Board of Trustees to order. Mr. Rodriguez, would you assist us by calling the roll?
Javier Montemayor,
Present, I'm sorry.
Tad Campos,
Present.
Ricardo Molina,
Present.
Judd Gilpin,
Present.
Juan Roberto Ramirez,
Present.
Ramiro Vélez III,
Present.
Ricardo Rodriguez present. We have a quorum, sir.
Thank you. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present, that this meeting has been duly called, and that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. Could everyone please now rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, the Texas Pledge, and a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the flag, allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, amen.
Please be seated. All right, moving on to agenda item number 3, public comments. We do have 2 people that would like to speak public comments this evening. I'm going to go ahead and recite the rules pertaining to public comments right now. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker. The board parliamentarian will be the timekeeper and will inform the speaker when they have 1 minute of time remaining. No more than 3 people will be allowed to speak on any side of an issue. Should there be more than 3 people who wish to speak on a particular issue, they need to select not more than 3 representatives to speak for them. Comments on policy or agenda items will be heard in open session. Complaints and concerns against employees or regarding students shall be directed through the appropriate channels. The presiding officer or designee shall determine whether a person who wishes to address the board has attempted to solve a matter administratively. If not, the person shall be directed to the appropriate policy as noted in BED local to seek resolution before bringing the matter to the board for a subsequent meeting. Pursuant to 551.042 of the Texas Government Code, no board member or administrator may respond to a member of the public unless such response is a recitation of district policy or a statement of the specific factual information. When a speaker comes to the podium, please indicate what agenda item you will be addressing. Furthermore, please refrain from mentioning any employees' names, and any complaint about any employee's duties or responsibilities should be channeled through the appropriate grievance policy. As I understand it, we have 2 speakers, and one is going to yield their time to the other. I think the speaker that's going to be speaking this evening would be Elizabeth Orando. Did I say the name correctly?
Her husband.
Oh, okay. Jose Arando. Okay. You're welcome to come up and make your comments, sir. So the total time allowed will be 6 minutes?
Right.
Okay. This is on item 5E, which is the, let me see which one that one is.
Ratification of the instructional materials.
Yeah, ratification of instructional materials. That is correct. Okay, go ahead.
Good afternoon. My name is Jose Ovando. I have 2 children who go to UISD. Unfortunately, they attend Nye Elementary and the United Middle School. I'm pretty sure you've all been aware of all the issues that we've been having with the CBAs, and if you're not aware, shame on you. You should be very aware. And this is in reference to the 5E that you just mentioned, Mr. Gilpin. I can't believe that we've gotten to this point, and now they're soliciting more monies for this. The way I understand it, they're just going to call it something else and request more money to impose these tests that have been affecting all our children. I don't know how much you know about this. I've been trying to contact some of the board members in reference to this. Up until now, Mr. Montemayor has been the only one that has helped us in this. Mr. Ramirez has refused to even contact us back. I've called him several times. Either he does not know or he does not care. But I do know that a lot of parents do care, and we're very concerned of what's going on with our kids. These tests are not a requirement by the state. And let me be very clear, we're not against tests. I value the test, and I think many parents also value the importance of tests, the data that they bring, how they can help a teacher, the administrators. But I don't believe that these CBA tests were very well thought out. I don't know who came up with these tests. I don't know why they imposed them. I did have the opportunity to talk to a superintendent from another school district, and that person I was amazed at the knowledge of that person. I am not an educator. I have never been an educator. I have no knowledge of education except for when I went to school. But I'm very amazed at how some people have such a depth of knowledge of this, and our school district is so ignorant on it. And it's not their fault, and it's certainly not your fault. And I've insisted it's our fault as parents that we allow this to happen. We, the parents, are going to have to change this, and we're going to have to change it a lot, because you have failed on your job, administration has failed on their job, but we as parents, we shouldn't drop the education of our children just like that. I didn't grow up in Laredo. I grew up in Mexico and in the north of the United States, and I see the very big differences in education in both countries and in the districts that I attended to. The only thing that I do see the big difference about the district here in Laredo is the apathy. Nobody cares. Why does nobody care about our children? Every district had a different idea of what the education should be, but ours is just the apathy of it. Somebody doesn't care about our children. Why are they being subjected to all these tests? Even further, when I discussed this previously, I started being retaliated against for this. I contacted the principal of the school where my child goes to and asked her, why is my child being retaliated against because of this? And she did not have an answer. In fact, she was very offended that I even questioned it. Even though I talked to the Attorney General or sent a letter to them and asked them, and they said, we the people are the master, and that you all are the servant. You are the public servant. But that doesn't seem the way right here. It seems that it's the other way around. I've already asked a person, why if we are way on the top, the public, and they just told me you don't matter? What do you mean we don't matter? Who comes up with these things? What's wrong with you all? Have you no shame? What's wrong? Where are we going wrong? It's not about an individual. It's about our children. We're not talking about money. We're not talking about who gets the best, who gets the last. We're talking about our children. Do you realize that? Do you even understand how important you are going to be 100 years from now, the changes that you can make today just by influencing the life of a child? I've spoken to so many teachers, and I've seen them so depressed. Some of them want to quit their job. Mr. Montemayor, when last meeting that we had, he spoke of that many teachers are even they're taking medication to control their nerves or whatever mental issues they may have because of the pressure or the stress that they're put into. An educator, that should be the most awesome career. They're influencing our children. Why are we doing this to them? And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be honest, if they would have sold me the idea that they first came in with the CPAs, I personally would have bought into it. I think it's an excellent idea. But so is Les Capital from Karl Marx, and we know that socialism doesn't work. And it's okay, you made a mistake. Hey, everyone makes mistakes. I'm pretty sure. I'm sorry, Mr. Molina?
We have a minute left.
I'm sure that you've all made mistakes, and there's no problem in saying, look, we made a mistake, we're going to correct course, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But why are we being kept in the dark? I filed for a Public Information Act or a Texas Open Act, and I was charged $300-something to receive that information. I sent you an email where it specifies that it can be waived. You mean I pay all these taxes and they can't even waive that information for me? Why? What's being hidden here? Why can't we be informed? All I want is to be informed. All I want is to know what's going to happen with the education of my children. I'm not asking for anything illegal. I'm certainly not asking for anything immoral. This is my children, and this is the children of all our community. You guys can have the power to make such an influence in the future of our children, and yet you deny that right to them. Why?
Time's up.
Is that the 6 minutes? Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Moving on to agenda item number 4. 4A, election of new officers.
We have 4 officer positions. I think the board can take them individually. The first one is the president. If somebody would like to make a nomination for the president, and then we'll go down the road.
I make the motion for president,
For who?
for Mr. Montemayor.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, so that's a nomination. That constitutes a nomination, a motion and a second.
Correct.
Okay. Do we vote now?
Yeah.
All right. Are there any other nominations?
Are there any other nominations?
All right. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All right. Nobody opposed? Mr. Montemayor is elected president unanimously. Moving on to vice president. Is there any nominations for vice president?
I nominate Juan Roberto Ramirez to continue as vice president.
All right. I'll second that.
Second.
In fact, I can amend my nomination. Juan Roberto Ramirez as vice president, Mr. Ricardo Rodriguez as secretary, and Mr. Ricardo Molina as parliamentarian.
All right. Do we have I'll go ahead and second that.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. Are there any further nominations? All right. All those in favor? All right. That passes unanimously. Agenda item number 5. At this time, we're going to move to the consent agenda items. I think we need the consent agenda items run.
Business and Instruction Committee met, and we'd like to approve A through F.
All right. Agenda items 5A through F. So we have a motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? All right. Item passes. Agenda item number 6, items for individual consideration. Item 6A, approval of the minutes for the month of February 2014. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
All right. Any discussion? All those in favor? Item passes.
Okay.
Is my
No.
microphone on?
Microphone on?
All right. Item 6B, approval of donations. Do we have a presentation on donations?
Yes, Mr. Gilpin, members of the board, it is recommended the board trustees graciously accept the following donations. We don't have any donations this month over 1,000, but we do have 3 under 1,000 for a grand total this month of $1,950 that we graciously accept from, these group of parents that are supporting our schools.
All right. Is there a motion to approve as presented?
moved.
Second?
All right. All those in favor? All right. Item 6C, approval of amendment to internal audit plan for 2013-2014. Do we have any presentation on that?
There's no presentation on that.
Okay.
So moved.
We have a motion.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor? All right, that item passes. Item 6D, approval of CSP 2014-050, UISD new elevator and improvements at William B. Johnson Student Activity Center Football Stadium.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, I have, Mr. Santos, on regard to this elevator, was it a different type of equipment or motor that was set up to help better and avoid any water getting into the elevator, sir?
What it is, Mr. Ramirez, it's a totally different concept, a different type of elevator. I think the one that we have now, it's called the piston style. I think we've had it for 12 years. This other elevator, I guess it's more of the pulley system, and it will have a cover to make sure water doesn't get in. I think that was one of the issues that we had in the past.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right, any further discussion? So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Item approved. Item 6E, presentation of construction Phase 1 projects and approval of Phase 1 projects.
Is there a presentation?
Yes. Yes, vaya. It's not on later.
We have for the board's consideration a presentation that we put together based on our bond program, in which we had the bond election in November, and with what we shared with the public on how many schools we were going to build, the renovations we were going to do, the safety and security projects that we were going to work on, and technology. What we've done the past couple of months since then, we've worked on cash flow projections and working with our construction department based on the building needs that we have and based on the type of money that we can issue and still stay within the tax rate that we told the voters that we would stay with. So if you just kind of bear with me a little bit, I'm going to be going through this real quick presentation. And what we're referring to this is phase one. We hope to do the bond program. Remember, it's $408 million over 4 years. So let me go ahead and start here. As you can recall, the new schools, we told the public that we would spend a little less than $342 million in making 4 ninth grade campuses, 3 middle schools, 5 elementary schools, and 2 replacement elementaries. Safety and security, we would spend a little less than $11 million. Technology, $22 million. Additions and renovations, $30 million. And a little less than $4 million on just the bond issuance cost and fees, for the total bond program of $408,712,549. Again, what we had thought, so that we could stay within the tax rate that we told our voters, was that we proposed to do the bond sales in 4 phases. And as you can see right there, the first bond sale we propose to do this summer for about $100 million. We feel that this will allow the district to stay within the proposed 3 cents the first year, that we told the voters that we would not go over 3 cents the very first year of the bond program. And that this amount of money would allow us to start the first phase of the construction program. Then next summer, we would sell $125 million to complete the first phase program and start what we consider the second phase projects. And then third bond sale, believe it or not, would be summer 2016, another $100 million. Again, to complete the second phase projects and start the third phase projects. And then the final bond sale, we would think, would happen the summer of 2017 for the remainder of the bonds of $83.7 million. And of course, at that point, we'd be completing our third phase projects and start and complete our fourth phase projects. So at this point, I'd like to discuss what we're proposing would be in the phase 1 projects. For new schools, we are recommending or proposing to start the 4 ninth grade campuses for the United High School sector, for the JBA sector, for the United South High School sector, and for the LBJ sector. And this would allow us to start the construction on those buildings that we think would take 2 years to build, so that we would hopefully complete the construction in August 2016.
Like, just the board, just to show the board, obviously, we're hoping that the board, once it's approved, then we'll follow, especially at ninth grade campus, which is not approved yet, but I think Lila's just giving you, what we think is the best scenario. Just want to share that with the board. Thank you, Lila.
Thank you, Mr. Santos. Then we would propose to start a middle school on Highway 359. And again, the construction would start and hopefully to be completed by August 2016 for the start of that school year, 16-17. And then build elementary on Highway 359, start that construction to complete August of 2015. The projected cash outflow for these projects is $101 million through August 2015. On security and safety, we hope to start these projects this coming summer and complete them possibly August 2016. And this would include the design of the security stations at our main entrances to our campuses, and design and build the access controls at all the exterior doors, perimeter doors, card reader locking systems for various campuses, and also work on upgrading the security surveillance camera system. This possibly would be, maybe not all the schools, because we have to work with the summer school programs, and so maybe about half of them we'd be able to start, and then next summer do the other half. But depending again on the availability of the campus, that we could start working on these projects. But we propose that we would at least start some of them this summer, because not all of them are going to have summer school at their site, and that we think that the cash outflow for these projects would be about $3,542,000.
How long does it take, it will take for those projects to be built, to be set up on each school? I mean, you were saying the summer would take 1-2 months?
Right. Well, depending on how many have to be worked on. Again, I would think it would be difficult to have your front door not available during the school year. That's why a lot of these projects we hope to do in the summertime. It might take 3 summers to do all 40 campuses, but at this time, that's why we don't have a specific set of campuses. We will find out which campuses, or we've already found out which campuses do not have summer school, and then we'll try to prioritize those schools that we would be able to start these projects. The better scenario on doing these type of projects is that it wouldn't be during the school year, because as you can see, like doing the security stations at the main entrance will have to affect some of those main entrances. And some of, not all the schools are the same. Some schools may, you may have to shut down the whole main entrance to do the security station. Some might have the ample room to, maybe do a partial entrance accessibility. So I think what we're trying to say right here is that we would start working on some of these schools, probably those that do not have summer school this summer, and hope that some of those projects would be completed by the beginning of school, the school year, and some of those that we've started on. We feel that we can maybe, I don't want to say do 20 of them, but at least start these projects, so that our public can also see that we are starting to do these projects as well. Again, it could be over a 2-year period, it could be over a 3-year period when we get to all the campuses, because of summer school as well. Any additional questions on safety and security? The other phase is technology. At this point, we're proposing that we're going to do what we call the V-Brick video distribution system that was discussed by our technology committee of our Blue Ribbon Committee. We're starting with 8 campuses, which are what we call our focus campuses. This was a recommendation by our CNI department. And then we are going to do an upgrade at 4 campuses. They're the older campuses. They have never gotten the E-rate money to upgrade their network. And so Mr. Perez has identified the campuses that he would start working on, and then also upgrade the main data center that does affect all our campuses. And so the projected cash outflow for the technology projects would be about $5.7 million, a little less than $5.8 million.
I forgot to ask you, excuse me to interrupt again. At the time that these schools are being built, they will be setting up the new technology, right? Right along.
Yes.
Right along when they
Yes,
start
the
building.
new schools will have the network upgrades in them. Whatever technology we've put in our older campuses would be part of the new campuses as well, including like the V-Brick system. So we're going to go to our older campuses, put the V-Brick system in, and also include them in our new campuses as we're building them. Thank you. The proposed Phase 1 renovation projects, we're going to start with the parking lot improvements at Clark Elementary and Kennedy Zapata. We'll start the installation of security lighting at the access sidewalk through the Student Activity Center and Antonio Gonzalez Middle. And then one of the bigger air-conditioned projects that Mr. Rangel recommended that we do this summer is replace the HVAC EMS system at Gutierrez Elementary. This projected cash outflow for renovations would be about $1.3 million. In totaling up the bill, pretty much what we presented to you, the Phase 1 projects that we're proposing would cost about $112,671,000. Yes, that's more than $100 million that we're going to sell in bonds, But as we're going through the year, if we get to that point, we feel we could cash flow from our operation money the $12 million until we're able to sell bonds next summer. And remember, next summer, we would propose to sell $125 million. And so, again, looking at the cash flow, looking at the needs of the bond program, these were the proposed projects we wanted to start with. You see how much we're thinking they're going to cost us, because at the same time, we really can't do all of them because we would not be able to afford the cash. The cash would be too much for our operating money to handle. But this is our proposed cost estimate and projects for phase one, what we're calling phase one.
These are projects that are separate and apart from the CMR at risk.
That's correct. CMR at risk, and we're hoping the board is able to call a special call meeting maybe next week to be able to put that as an item, because we do have quite a bit. In some of those CM at risk, I mean, those are some minor items that we might be able to do some this summer. But on the majority, we've got to hire the architect, and it's going to take a little time to do drawing and get ready, but most likely, we'll start some phases. If it's a wing or different construction, we got to figure out, how we can block to make sure that we have school and still be able to build some of these buildings. Alexander's a very good example. We've got to build that band hall and the Kate and the ROTC, so we got to work on those things, as soon as we can. And then begin to look at phase two, looking at those elementaries on the LBJ area, and then one, probably a San Isidro area, and one probably for the Colonel Santos. So, I mean, we're moving forward. But the CM at risk, yes, sir, it'll be separate. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, most of these projects, it were some that we felt we could start working on the new schools, and at the same time afford to start doing some of the safety and security and the technology. And then you'll start seeing more renovations and additions, the bigger projects that aren't the new schools, probably in phase two, where we really start, we've got the architects down, the timelines down, and we can start cash flowing those projects, because they are bigger than these other projects.
Thank you.
Is there any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Leila.
Thank you very much, man.
All right, do we have a motion regarding item 6E? Would be a motion to approve as presented?
So moved.
All right,
Second?
any discussion? All those in favor? Very good. Moving on to agenda item number 7, closed session. The time is now 6:39 p.m. and the board will adjourn into closed session pursuant to sections 551.071, .072, .074, and .076 of the Texas Government Code to discuss agenda items 7A, B, and C. We'll be back in approximately 1 hour. All right, the time is now 7:24. We are reconvened from closed session, and the board will take appropriate actions on items 8A, B, and C. Item
Mr.
8A.
Mr. Gilpin, members of the board, there is no action needed on agenda item 8A, but on agenda item 8B, the request from the board is to approve the closing of the Shiloh 12-acre tract from Killam Properties, such property identified in and under the settlement agreement at cost number 2006 CBQ 001884C1 and being located east of Bach Bullock Loop 20 and north of Del Mar Boulevard within the Cove's master plan, as discussed in closed session.
All right. So, okay, so we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, any discussion on that item? Did you have a discussion on that item, Roberto?
No.
Okay.
At the
Okay.
end,
Very good.
we adjourn.
All right. All those in favor? All right, the item passes unanimously. Item 8C.
That recommendation had been made at a prior board meeting. It's still the same recommendation that the administration is bringing to the board on 2004 request for qualifications number 2014-005. And you see it there at your board packet, so it's
All right.
as presented.
Do we have a motion to approve as previously presented?
So move. Second.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor? All right, very good. Item 9, adjournment.
Before we leave, I just want to make a comment. I just want to thank and congratulate Mr. Gilpin for being a president during the bond time, that he was very helpful together with the administrations. But as a leader, as a president, I would like to congratulate you and thank you for your service, and well in Mr. Montemayor.
I also want to thank Mr. Gilpin. I think working very close with the president, extremely very supportive, and I think with your leadership and direction, I think we've been able to work not only as administration, I think the rest of the staff and the board as a good team. And I want to thank you for the support that you've always been there for our district.
Thank you, Mr. Santos. Thank you, Roberto. It's been a pleasure and a privilege. I've enjoyed being able to make some contributions where I could, and I've enjoyed working with everybody. Conducted themselves in a professional fashion and tried to do the best they can for United, and that goes for not only the people sitting up here, but everybody in the audience, and a lot of other staff members aren't with us this evening. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
I second the motion.
All right. All
To
right.
adjourn.
Very good. We are adjourned.